again, we've been studying how to generate repeated behavior in our programs by using while loops, and I thought we'd finally solve something that feels kind of ambitious, that isn't maybe so straightforward how to attack it at first. So here I have the robot in a world of where every column of the robot's world contains precisely one dark square. You can see that, I think. And what I want to do is I want to fill in dark squares below each of those. So wherever I see a dark square, I'm going to sort of stretch that darkness to fall all the way down so that all of these cells from the bottom up to and including that dark square are dark. So we should end up with what looks like kind of like a bar graph, or maybe like a graphic equalizer on your stereo or something. Um, anyway, we're not going to claim this is useful, but I think it's a fun little problem. So let's go ahead and try to solve it. Let's try to fill in all of this with dark squares and see what happens. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to need some loops, and my first observation here is I need to repeatedly. One thing I do repeatedly is I complete one of these bars. So the whole overall task is called complete bars plural, and one thing I do repeatedly is I complete a single bar. And so maybe a smart place to start. So let me give you some context. My file name is called bars, and it comes with lovely methods like turn right, turn around, back up that might help us. And we're writing this complete bars method. And so something that will help me write complete bars might be complete one bar. I'll just call it complete bar singular. Complete one bar. So what's true beforehand? Well, the robot is facing east at bottom of the bar, and there is one dark square north of robot somewhere, and afterward all squares, or we'll just say the bar has been completed, and we'll assume we know what that means for this problem. But, oh, excuse the cough again, but we have to decide where does the robot end up and which way is the robot facing at the end. So an excellent plan is maybe the robot is still in its initial state. It hasn't changed. It's still where it started out. So, I mean, it's changed in the middle, it's gone up, it's darkened the bar, but when we're done darkening the bar, it'll be exactly where it started. And one thing you might think, well, maybe the robot should also advance, not only return to its original state, but take one step forward, right? Because I know I need to take one step forward, so I can now darken the next bar. And when I complete the next bar, I should take one step forward. And that makes sense for every bar that I darken, every bar I complete, except the last one, right? Because when I darken that last bar, if I now automatically move one step, I will move off the screen and my program will crash, right? It'll say I tried to move into a wall, or the front was not clear, or something like that. So a good plan is leave the robot exactly where it started, and then if I know that there are more bars left, then I'll move to the next bar, and if there are no more bars, I'll just stop. So we'll just leave the robot in exactly its original state. So how do we darken the bar? In fact, I'm going to move the robot forward because I think it'll be easier to think about darkening this one tall one that clearly requires a loop than these short ones. With any luck, our code that darkens the tall one will also work on the short ones. We'll see if that's really the case. So what do I have to do? First thing, I probably want my robot to turn to the left. Okay. In fact, I'll turn to the left down here so that you can see the robot facing left, which is exactly what will be happening in my program when I've now turned left in complete bar. Now what? Well, now I need to move. How many times do I need to move? I don't know, but I might need to move many times. Well, that sounds like a loop, right? I repeatedly want to move, so I'll just type the outline of a while loop like I always do, and then we'll start doing a fill in the blank. What is it that I do repeatedly? I move. So that goes in the body of the loop. Remember my suggestions for things to think to yourself when you work with a loop. What is the action that repeats? And that becomes the body of the loop. And then when should the loop stop? And having determined that, when should the loop keep going? Because when the loop keeps going will be the test in my while condition. So when does the loop... Well, the action that happens repeatedly is moving. Now you may think, but don't I also... Actually, we haven't settled. Do we darken as we move or not? Right, we could darken on the way up or the way down. Let's darken on the way up, which means I shouldn't begin by moving, silly Dave. I should make it dark, make the cell dark, and then move, right? Make dark, move, make dark, move. When I get to that last square, is it safe to make dark and move? Yeah, it is. Make dark, move. And as long as I stop at this moment, I'm okay. What tells me to stop? I'm on dark. So one thing I need to do repeatedly is check, am I on dark yet? But anytime I feel like I'm repeatedly checking, that's a sign that maybe that's my while loop condition, right? I stop when I'm on dark. So I keep looping when I'm not on dark. So while I'm not on dark, I will make the square dark and move. And that makes sense because I know I'm not on dark at the moment I get to this line, so it's safe to make it dark. And having moved, I don't know if I'm on dark, so it's a good thing that I'll be testing again. When I exit the loop, I know I'm on dark, indicating I've completed the bar and gotten to that top mark. Okay, maybe we should try it. Sure, why not? It's fun to try things. Compile. Uh-oh, did that say there was an error? Compile. Error. Complete bar is already defined. Oh, really? I defined complete bar twice? Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. That's because I made this video already, and then my computer crashed, and anyway, so don't look. We're deleting the complete bar code from before. Don't look. There we go. It's gone. Okay, phew. The terror has passed. Okay, back to this version that I wrote just now. Let's test it and see how things go. Now, that was very confusing. I'm sure it was very confusing to you too. So we'll load up the world. There it is. And let's take a step forward so we're completing the second bar here. And we will call complete bar, which is in my file called bars. Trust me, that's the name of my file. Bars.complete bar. Can you even see that? I kind of feel like that might be off your screen. That would be a shame if it were. Oops. Okay, complete bar. And let's see what happens. Well, that's good. We get to the top and we stop. Okay, what should we actually do when we get to the top? Well, I guess we should turn around. I happen to have a method called turn around, and it's in this bars file. But now I remember something about calling methods, because I remember that the file name is optional if the method is declared in the same file. We learned that in the last video. The file name is optional if the method's declared in the same file, and turn around is declared in this same file, which happens to be that the file is called bars. Where was I? Over here. So therefore, I could say bars.turnaround, or I could just say turnaround. That's optional. But I have to say robot.move, because move has not been declared in this file. Move is declared in robot, so I must say robot.move. Okay. Complete the bar. We turn left while we're not on dark. We make dark and move, and then we turn around. So now the situation is that we've also turned around. Note, in order to turn around from down in my interactions pane in Dr. Java, I still need to specify the file name, because I'm not inside the file. Okay, so turn around. Then what do? Well, we need to move all the way back. So we need to repeatedly move. It sounds like another loop. So we've got two loops now in my code. One to go up and one to go back. That kind of makes sense. Okay, while something, what do I do repeatedly? I move. And I ask myself, when do I stop moving? Well, I stop moving when I get down here, which is going to be, I think of it as facing a wall. The front is no longer clear. So when do I keep moving? Well, I keep moving when the front is clear. So while the front is clear, we'll move. And when we've done that, we'll be back at the bottom of the screen. And when we're back at the bottom of the screen, what's the last thing we need to do? That's right, we need to turn to the left so that the robot is back in its initial position. Okay, let's hit compile, see if that works. And if it has, where am I? Here we go. Load the bars. There it is. We'll take a step forward and we will try completing that bar. Complete bar. Now an interesting question is, does it work even if the bar is really short. So I'm going to move to the next one, which is really short, and we're going to try completing the bar again. Does that work? Actually, let's reason through. Does it work? Well, the robot should turn left. It won't be on dark, so it will enter the loop. It will make dark, move, but after that very first time through the loop, it will now be on dark, and it will exit the loop. So we'll be here. We'll turn around. While the front is clear, we'll move. So we'll move back to the bottom and turn left. There's good reason to believe that's going to work. That makes sense, even if we have to go up only one level. Neat. Alright, I would really like to try one of these. I know I'm drifting off the screen. I want to try one of these bars and see if it works. Move, move. What if we're already on a dark square? What will this code do? Well, it will say, turn left, so it'll be facing to the north, and we'll be on dark right away, so we'll never enter this loop. And then we'll turn around, so now we're facing south, and while the front is clear, but the front is not clear. Front is already blocked, so we'll never move. And then we'll turn to the left. So it should look like we just kind of spun in place. And that's good, because this bar is already complete. Alright, in the next video we'll put this all together and see the robot complete these lovely little bars here. I'll see you there.